Directly to You, episode 11. That's right. It's the 11th entry in the weekly podcast here on youtube.com/fanatixfour, soundcloud.com/fanatixfour, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and anywhere else podcast services are available. Today, we have a special guest joining us.
Hello. I'm AlyssaBeCrazy.
AlyssaBeCrazy. That's right, guys. For those of you who remember Dan, he joins us regularly. This is his smarter half.
I agree with the statement.
We're going to get into why later.
Oh yeah, and AJ's here too.
Yeah, I also exist.
All right, so jump right into it with the first topic. Nintendo's place in esports, Smash Bros. Plus Splatoon 2 tournaments. Thoughts on that? Is this a comment?
This is the first topic. I need to run you down on this, apparently. But
I was like I see it's separated by a Discord comment. But
yeah, so I wanted to talk about esports anyway, or their approach to esports, and that was one of our comments in the Discord. So I might as well integrate that into the discussion, So I wanted we talk about that, and then go from there into his comment, because his comment's not really touching on exactly that, what they do that's different about esports and stuff like that, and what they can do to be successful in it. But yeah, that's the gist of because did you hear that they're gonna have a Smash Brothers tournament for the new Smash Brothers, whatever that is, for E3?
No, I didn't hear that.
So yeah, you remember how on Wii U and 3DS, or the Wii U version specifically, they had a tournament for that during E3. Doing the same thing here.
Okay.
Yeah, so for Smash, they're doing an Invitational, and they're doing a Splatoon World Tournament, or Championship. So they're a little bit different, but they are definitely making that effort to get into esports now, and it's exciting to see.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's dope. It's about time. It's about time we see these this massive company jump into the ring with especially with titles like Splatoon and Smash. They just fit,
Right.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, I feel esports, when I think esports, it's heavily dominated by, Blizzard, League of Legends, stuff like that. You don't think Nintendo when you think esports. Yeah. And I feel like this is a refreshing change. And there's no reason Nintendo couldn't be in esports. If you have really serious, dedicated, and skilled players in, Smash and Splatoon, that is a mental gymnastic all on its own.
Right, it is. True.
And it even goes beyond that, because I think Nintendo, they've had success in esports, but they had success in esports and it's detached from them, because Pokemon, that's a really big competitive scene, but it's not really this Nintendo thing, they don't make a thing out of it. They're not posting it on their Twitter where they're the World Invitational for Pokemon is next week, they're not doing that. It's just the Pokemon Twitter, and that's probably a lot of that falls on Pokemon Company, because they are so detached.
I didn't even think about Pokemon, and I let you know where my competitive nature is with Pokemon. I didn't even think about that as an option. I was like, oh yeah, that is a thing that exists. That is true.
It is. It's so funny, because again, with esports, you don't think Pokemon when you hear esports, but it absolutely is and could be.
Yeah, it's really crazy, because a lot of people, just how they think of games in general, right? When you talk about games, and even with people that don't really play games, the Drake fans, the ones that are funneling in after the whole Twitch thing, they think the big, the Call of Duties and the Maddens and the serious, quote unquote serious games, right? But I think there's real potential in embracing the casual end of Splatoon, where Splatoon, compared to a Call of Duty, people think it's casual. The best way to play that game is with motion controls. People in this tournament, pros are going to be using the motion controls, and usually that's a no-no. If you walk into somewhere and it's oh yeah, I'm beating you up in this Smash Bros. Tournament with a Wii remote, people are going to look at you crazy. But in Splatoon, the people that are going to be wrecking in this are the people that are using motion controls.
Okay, here, I have a gripe with that, actually. I was thinking about this earlier too, because take something like ARMS, which is motion control. I personal opinion, don't believe that in esports motion controls should be a thing. Mostly because motion controls as they are right now are not 100% accurate. They're just not. And you can't have you know, an esport like that is on, you know, the level of a lot of these other games that isn't accurate.
I'd argue that with these specific games, like ARMS and Splatoon, they are. And it's more so when you're playing them as intended. You know, like a lot of people, they look at ARMS, like we had Blessing from OK Beast on this podcast a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was like, I don't know. But he was talking about how it's like, oh, I was trying to play it like Wii Sports, and right away that tells me like, okay, you don't know what you're doing, because this is like their motion controls for these games, like for Splatoon and for ARMS and stuff like that. It's like, it's nuanced. It's not supposed to be this thing where it's like that's just how you play and you're moving your controller all over the place and that's how you do it. It's like a third analog stick, and it operates that way. You know, like when you watch people that play this game that know what they're doing, like you barely see their controller moving. You know, specifically with Splatoon. ARMS is a different ball game. ARMS is a
lot of flailing.
ARMS is definitely more in that ballpark.
I would say ARMS is still less flailing than a lot of people think it is. But when I say that it's a different ballpark, it's just that people use analog sticks with that game.
Right.
That's the way that they play that. Like, but Splatoon is like, it's like objectively better. Like, you know, like it controls better. You have an advantage if you use motion controls, because your shooting, ironically enough, is more accurate when you use the motion controls correctly.
Right. It increases it. Right. It helps to increase your aim, and, you know, just faster turnaround, all that stuff, like sensitivity, those things with Splatoon. ARMS is definitely, you know, I could see that being an issue. I don't really think ARMS would be.
Yeah, because I mean, here's the thing with ARMS especially is, you know, it is, because I've played ARMS and it's not, I enjoyed it, but again, it's not 100% accurate, and there is the flailing aspect, and to me that's compared to button moshing. And, you know, if you're if you're in a Smash tournament and you're going to be button moshing, what's even the point? Because if you're in a tournament competitively, you need to know what you're doing. You're not going to be moshing, you're going to be using the exact combos that you need to be doing. So it you know,
granted it's not on a level of like a Connect, which is like godly, you know. I think
you know, the most that I see with, like, when I have seen people that like know how this game works, like on the level of like somebody who would be competitive, the only time I see them flail at all is when they use that special, you know, how you press the both of the triggers together, and then it's like keep punching, you know, like that is like that makes it look like waggle, you know. But ARMS is like, I mean, again, people use controllers with this, so even then, it's like, it's still like controllers is, again, objectively the better way to go with this game specifically. But it's more methodical than like a Wii Sports, where like the point of ARMS is not like the person that's throwing the most punches is probably not going to be the one that wins. You're supposed to use your arms to like maneuver somebody into getting hit. It's like a jab in boxing, where it's like the jab is supposed to be the fake out, and then you hit them with the haymaker. You know, like that's what ARMS is, where it's like I'm using one arm to get you in the position that I want you in, and then once you move there, I'm going to hit you with the other one, you know. So it's like nuanced.
You know, it's funny that we speak about ARMS in this way. I've actually never played it in that way. I don't think, at least I don't think so.
You mean like with motion controls?
With the motion controls, I think I've always used the button. It's
really fun. It is fun. It's enjoyable, but I just think for, you know, competition's sake, it, you know, shouldn't be a thing.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it could be. But people that are using buttons are going to win.
I think
with
it
that
could
game.
be in the future, because if we look at Joy-Cons, how they are now, they're great. They're accurate, but they're not there yet.
Right.
Like, look at the Wiimote. They were great for the time. They weren't accurate, but we know that, and they got better. So we just need to wait for, you know, the next, or
the
something
Joy-Con
that
Motion
is...
Plus.
The Joy-Con 2, right.
But yeah, I mean, I think that just because it's like an established IP at this point, well, kind of, I don't think ARMS will be, I don't think it's going to shift to be like, okay, we're just using motion now. Like the pros are going to be, I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think Splatoon, from the gate, was always a game where it's like, and people that like play it and understand that you're not supposed to be like moving your controller that much, you know? Like, there's never been a time where I've seen people that play Splatoon and they're like, oh, these motion controls are inaccurate. It's always the people that like jump in for the first time, play it thinking that it's Wii, and then they're like, oh, these control, you know, like that whole thing. Yeah, they overdo it. Yeah, they overcorrect because they remember the experience of the Wii being so inaccurate. And the Joy-Con are a lot more accurate than that. I wouldn't say they're perfect. I wouldn't say buttons are perfect, but they're definitely more accurate than Wii remotes were. And I think if Nintendo really steers into that skid, that could make their tournaments a lot different. Because like on one end, like it's always fun to like see these like super skilled players and stuff like that. On a slightly more like cynical end, it's funny to watch people play games with motion controls, like because they look kind of dumb.
They do.
So I think that would be an interesting wrinkle. Like there'll be a lot of memes from that.
Yeah.
Gifs of people like, look at pro gamer ZZM Splatoon God and his arms too strapped. You know,
you can't look cool doing that.
Yeah, you can't. Like, look at his wind up punch. You know, it's like okay.
I would love to hear the casters for that having to take it seriously.
Right. Oh, he's flailing. He's flailing.
It's like
right
you
there.
see here, the strategy that he's using is he flails his arms at exactly 45 degrees, and he uses just enough torque when he pushes that arm forward. It's nonsense.
Be funny. Let's see.
So yeah, we can.
I was gonna say. I think we pretty much answered. We should pretty much went into that.
You think we went into his question?
Let's. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and read it, and then we can just like. Let me see. Nintendo's esports have always been small, not only because people don't see them as a company to make competitive games, which we kind of touched on.
Yeah.
But also because Nintendo hasn't supported much in the past. We also kind of touched on that. Now that they're going to pay more attention to esports, do you think that Nintendo should take the route of advertising tournaments in games with links to a Twitch webpage to watch, sort of Rocket League or Counter-Strike would do it? Sort of how Rocket League or Counter-Strike does it. Or do you think there's a better way to go about advertising this? So basically, how would Nintendo go about advertising these events?
I think they're really looking into that. I don't know about the in-game thing. I think that would be brilliant if they want to get like just people that are playing this game. You know, like you play Splatoon, why don't you enter this tournament? You know,
right. That'd be cool.
But they also have like the Nintendo versus Twitter, which to me was red flags. It's like, wait, what? Like, what's going on here? It looks like they really want to, and like even with like the revealing Nintendo Switch that trailer. That really showed that it's like, this is an esports machine. Dock your Switch, grab your Pro Controller, and you'll get hundreds of thousands of fans screaming for you in the crowd. You know, like, so I think that they're really looking into like how to get their like own little piece of the pie of esports and stuff like that. And I think that would be a good idea, a good way to do it if they do it in game. I don't even know if like any other company does that. You know, like Microsoft, they're not like on the Microsoft store, despite the fact that we see ads all over it. It's not like there's a Counter-Strike tournament coming up, you know, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That'd be cool to see that. I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say it'd be cool to see that interconnectivity with it. To be like, we're really supporting this. We're really behind it. You know, we're gonna put it on the eShop or you know whatever. Like you said, like you frequent this game a lot. You know. Here you go. You know, here's something for the community.
Even like cool. Those push emails where it's like, I got an email extremely late of like, you played a lot of Breath of the Wild. Why don't you go back there and finish the champion? You know, like that champion ballot or whatever. Like even if they do that, like you put 60 hours in Splatoon, you're a pro. You can play this game in a tournament. You know, enter here. Here's the link. You know, like that whole thing.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know, as far as advertising though, for now, at least until the tournaments, you know, get started and, you know, gain some traction, I do think just by them saying that they are doing an invitational, they are doing a world championship, that speaks way louder to anybody, really, rather than, you know, just a regular advertisement, because Nintendo is so big, and them just stating that they are actually doing this is huge. Right. And for, you know, all the really, you know, hardcore Nintendo gaming fans, that's going to catch on like wildfire. They don't really need to do much in advertisement for now, at least, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
definitely.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Because like, you don't really need it. It's kind of like how indie games are selling on Switch right now, where it's like, usually indie games don't sell that well because your library is like so inundated with Call of Duties and and all that other stuff. But for now, it's like an indie game less so now that the Switch is like proliferated across the world, you know, like. But usually when an indie game came out, it was just as big of a deal as any game coming up because it was the only game that you were playing for the next 2 weeks. You know, like that whole thing. It's kind of the same way and with esports. It's like the needle in the haystack isn't really a factor here. The needle's just there. Like, just grab it.
Right.
Yeah. So that'd be cool. I think Nintendo's going the right path with that. They're just doing everything right, man. Power moves, man. Freaking.
Except for Mario plus Rabbids. Can't cancel the second one.
What?
No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Mario plus Rabbids tournament. Get on today.
Oh my god.
Esport. That'd be weird.
Isn't there a multiplayer mode for that? I don't know. I don't play.
There is.
It's really fun.
Oh god. I just don't like the theme, but that's another video for another day.
I agree.
Yeah, that whole thing is crazy. And you know who be crazy? AlyssaBeCrazy. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that we do on the show. Segues. I forgot.
That was the best segue I've ever heard.
Thank you so much. The greatest segues on YouTube.
I personally think this was a weak one. You'll see better ones.
Why are you hating?
No, I'm not hating. I'm just saying I've seen better work from you, Logan. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I got high expectations to live up to. I respect it.
Okay, yeah. So you do a lot of stuff on the internet. We're speaking about that a little bit before we started.
Yeah. Well, I dabble on YouTube. I used to be full force on YouTube, and then I started getting into Twitch, and I really enjoy Twitch.
Yeah.
So I've been hanging out there. I've been doing a lot more of that recently. But as far as my content on Twitch and YouTube, I do a lot of gaming. And I also do creative streams as well because I'm an artist. So I, go back and forth and do, some commissions on, streams, and then I do games, and I actually have my first 24-hour stream coming up, which I'm really nervous about, but also really excited because I don't know how it's going to go. I'm probably going to crash and burn really hard.
Don't say that. Everybody listening, go support.
Oh,
also, speaking of the art, if you guys sponsor, you can get a custom-made emote made by AlyssaBeCrazy.
Oh, yes.
On our channel.
It's true.
Greatness.
But yeah, so you kind of glazed over the YouTube thing, but your YouTube, you got a decent amount of subs. You got 30
I have almost 40,000 subscribers. I'm actually reviewing a lot of my content right now because I'm getting ready to roll out a new set of content for YouTube because I feel like I've neglected it a little bit, and that makes me very sad. So
I love how she just nonchalant. Like, I got 40,000 subs. I'm like, oh, she's a boss. I love how she just threw that in there. That was cool.
I just appreciate every one of my subs. It's great.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're really active, which makes me really happy. So it feels it's not lonely. It's not a lonely channel. It's a very fun place to be. Especially because I'm starting to do a lot more interactive content. So it's just very fun. I used to do a lot of challenges. I plan on bringing those back. I'm working on a lot of stuff, rolling out a new schedule so I can really get back to doing YouTube, at least, as much as I used to.
You see this?
Yeah.
She has schedules and stuff. It took us how long?
She's
2 years to even have the semblance of our schedule that we have now.
Right, exactly.
So everybody go subscribe to her if you want structure.
Kind of.
And check out her creative stuff. And you spoke on what kind of challenges did you do? Whenever you were heavy with those.
You mean the content?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I did a couple of different things. I really enjoy doing vlogs, And it just, it sucks because that was one of the things that I stopped doing for a while, because when you start working from home, you don't go outside very often. So there's not much to vlog about. But now that I have a little bit more time, I'm going to be, you know, going out more, vlogging a lot more. Again, with the challenges, I like doing quizzes. Which is really interesting, and I haven't seen a lot of people do that, and I think it's really fun because, you know, I post the link to whatever quiz that I'm doing in the video description. That way you can, you know, pause the video, go get, you know, pull up that quiz, and you can take it as the video is going, and, you know, everyone can really kind of compare their answers, and it's just a fun time.
That's great.
Yeah, you know, I also post, you know, there's a playlist for my gaming as far as Let's Plays, gaming with friends, and my stream archives. So I do post at least the AAA game stream archives on my YouTube channel because, you know, they are largely story-based. So if somebody needs, you know, to do something and they miss a stream, they can always go back and catch up that way. So, because I don't want to leave anybody out, you know?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
But I like doing a lot of different stuff, experimenting, you know, adding new new content on it, and just kind of seeing what works, what doesn't, and doing the things that I really like to do. Because, you know, if you do something that you personally don't enjoy, what's the point of doing it?
Exactly.
Right. I like how varied your channel is. I'm kind of like, I kind of wanted to like move our channel into like doing multiple like shows and stuff like that, but it's hard to do that because like even the schedule that we have now is hard to like nail down and make sure that we have the 3 videos that we have a week, you know. So like adding more to that on top of like what we already do, because I don't want to take anything away, is hard, and I want to make sure it's like in line with like what we do in some way, you know, like, oh, you guys like Switch, this connects to Switch in this way, you know, like that whole thing. Or like the format that we do, like what do they like most about this format that we absolutely cannot change and like, but we can still take other elements of different things and add that to what people love most about the formats that we currently have. Content strategy on the podcast. But yeah, speaking of content strategy, Logan used some great content strategy with his video this week.
Oh my god,
because it's doing very good. And you know what's not good? 2 segues. But Yoshi, it sucks right now. And Yoshi for Switch ain't looking much better.
Yeah, you guys really let me know what you thought. And a lot of the comments are saying how I'm stupid and how I need to. There's a lot of people that were like, they're like, you don't care about Yoshi. You don't care about you know, you don't give a F about. I was like, that.
The real Yoshi fans don't even like Yoshi's story.
Yeah, such hate. I was like, geez.
So,
but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You're fine.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, a lot of people. That's been a thing on our channel for a while. Every time we like bring up a opposing view, people are like, we must hate the other thing. You know, when I say, you know, Yoshi could go in this direction. You know, I'm not saying it has to be like a 3D game per se, but just like incorporate some new changes. People are like, oh, you don't know Yoshi. Go back and play the games. You never, you know. It's
yeah, I mean that's the trend that I've noticed with like anytime we talk about anything. You know, where it's like, especially if it's a thing that's not praising this thing, which is also, that's a whole nother can of worms. But when we're talking about like this might need some work, and it's like about some type of thing that has like a diehard fan base, which pretty much everything Nintendo has like some type of like, you know, like contingent of fans that's like super passionate about it. Like even Ice Climbers, I'm sure, it has like a contingent of fans that's like never change it, even though it's garbage on NES.
I'm always surprised by like I said before, it takes making a video about something to really see like, okay, this following exists to this degree. Like I never knew the Yoshi core was like strong, like this deep. I didn't know that till I made this. You
know what the thing though is about like, you know, the hardcore, you know, the strong group of followers too, is that having an opposing view is really important. And I feel like especially on the YouTube side of things, the diehard fans kind of forget that people can have different opinions. And this isn't just for Kirby or Yoshi or anything. Like, this is for everything across the board. If you don't agree with somebody, immediately you get attacked because this person, of course, this person knows best. So this person's opinion has to be the correct one.
Exactly. Like this person having a different opinion from mine is going to harm the thing I love. So I need to attack them. You know, it's like
And it's not. And you can have a healthy debate with somebody. It's not an argument. You're not fighting. It's simply having a discussion about pros and cons. Everything. I don't care what it is. Everything has pros and cons. Both. You can't have one without the other. And I feel like ignoring any con of anything is kind of doing a disservice, because that's like saying there's no more room to grow. It's done. It's over.
Exactly. I mean, and ironically, that's what a lot of people say. A lot of people in our comment section are like, once they change the format, that means that the format's going to die. You know, like as if 2D Mario games never happened again after Mario 64. You know, like we still get 2D Zelda games, you know, like that sort of thing. I don't know. It's a weird mentality that I'll never understand.
It's just people like feeling like it's kind of like a human thing almost. It's like human beings have we have a need for certainty. You know, we like to be certain in things. You know, that seems to be like a core for us, but some people hold on to it for an extreme. You know, it's like, no, I want this thing that I know is like, I love it. And if it goes away, it'll be gone forever, and you can't tell me any different. So this video, I'm gonna dislike bomb it. You know, it's like it's kind of crazy. I can see if I premise the video, Yoshi sucks.
It's terrible. It's never been good. You're all done for liking it.
Yeah, Yoshi sucks, and this is why Yoshi was never good. and then the intro plays, and then it'll be like, it seems like people pick out like a nugget out of the video and ignore everything else. Ignore when I said I played Yoshi 64 or Yoshi Story and I enjoy that. They're like, bullshit.
See, no, but that's the thing. That's the thing. See, and that's where, like, to an extent, and I mean, I texted you after I watched the video. Like, I'm like your comment section beta, where it's like this part was dumb. You got this wrong. You know, like that stuff. And I mean, in a lot of ways, the premise of what they're saying, where it's like you don't really know what you're talking about, and in a lot of ways you don't, because like the game that's your favorite and you know the most about is in a lot of ways completely different from the bulk of the games. You know, like where you were talking about how like Yoshi doesn't really transform, but in like all his other games, you know, like other than that game, pretty much he does. You know, like that sort of thing. I think a lot of the other stuff that you said, like, oh, detach him from Mario. I'm like, that's fine. You know, like that's valid. You know, there are games where he is detached from Mario, but like none of the super notable games. You know, like when people think of Yoshi, they think of Yoshi's Island. You know, so that's fair.
Right. Think of Yoshi carrying Mario type of thing. You know,
yeah. Well, like, and to me, that's part of the issue, is because you know people around our age who really grew up with Mario and the introduction of Yoshi and all that, you think of Yoshi and you think of a mount. You do.
Right.
And there needs to be that distinction between Mount Yoshi and Yoshi solo games. And I feel like that's what Nintendo was trying to do, and that's what they're really striving for. But it's just that, you know, the connection to Mario was so ingrained to us that it's hard to separate it. It's hard to, like, when the first time you've seen Yoshi, he's used it as a tool to get to places. Yeah. And even in the newer games, like I said, and even like it was in a different way, but Yoshi was still used. And even in Mario Odyssey, it's like, you know, we're still using Yoshi as a tool, basically.
And I think that's fine in Mario's games. You know, I think it's like, look at Luigi, right, where nobody really had a huge problem with like how huge of a departure Luigi's Mansion is from Mario. You know, like there are Mario references in it, of course. But he's not on most of Luigi's games boxes, you know. Like Mario's featured in the most famous Yoshi games. Yoshi still isn't his own thing, even though technically he has his own games, which is strange. I think the bigger problem with Yoshi games in general is that, I mean, for the most part, they're very samey, even without Mario being involved. Like, if anything, Mario being involved makes the games more interesting because it adds a mechanic on top of the already simple mechanics of the game. You know, like Yoshi, for the most part, still controls the same way as he does in Woolly World and Yoshi's Island. But you also have the whole like risk of like, but I might lose Mario. You know, like that whole thing. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know as much about Yoshi as these diehards.
Well, I mean, I'd have to say that I agree with, you know, comparing them to, you know, Woolly World and stuff. It's this, okay, this new Yoshi game for me doesn't seem like anything new. I played Woolly World and I loved it. I love that game, especially the multiplayer is great. But the gameplay that I've seen from this new one is, you know, there's little different except for the Woolly part. You know, the gameplay looks very similar. Like, honestly, I didn't even know about this game until I watched your video. I was like, wait, they're making a new Yoshi? What? Because it's just, I feel like they're not putting enough emphasis on Yoshi, or they're not striving to make it different enough to be seen or heard, because there's not enough hype for it compared to the other major titles and games that they're announcing and releasing. It's just, it's kind of getting buried underneath everything.
And somebody made a comment. They're like, "Oh, I didn't even know they're making a Yoshi game or whatever." No, they said, "I forgot" or something like that. Feel bad for forgetting. I was like, "It's not your fault for forgetting. Nintendo's not trying to remind you." You know, like they're not reminding you.
I think it hurts, like at least our perception of the game, right? Where we're Nintendo fans that are willing to be critical of Nintendo. It hurts our perception when you kind of tease out the game like that. You know, where it's like, "Oh, here's this game that exists allegedly." You know, we're not going to talk about it for the next year, but it exists. You know, like that builds expectation. You know, like if you're delaying this game, you know, like you can make sure Mario comes out on time and that doesn't miss a date. That's a big deal game, you know? And like, for instance, Zelda. Like Zelda got delayed 3-4 times. And again, that's a big deal game. You're going to delay Yoshi on the same level that you delay Zelda? Are you kidding me? Like, are you, like, it's just nonsense where it's like, that
this is going to make the world go nuts. We're going to show a teaser of Yoshi and then not show anything for 3 years. And then just drop.
And see, the funny thing is, Woolly World was the same way. They do like Yoshi is not that big of a deal to like, oh no, we got to polish up level 3. You know, like it's the same game. Yoshi is Yoshi is Yoshi.
It's the
just
same
like Kirby
game,
is Kirby is Kirby.
But at the same time, Woolly World I feel was different enough to be something completely on its own that they did build the hype for, because it was different. It was new, and I feel like this new one is kind of going back to before that in, you know, as far as, you know, style and gameplay.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of like the thing that is also kind of annoying with Nintendo. Depends on the game, but a lot of times they'll do something new, and then they'll go back to doing, either they'll do that again or they'll go back to the old thing that they did before. Like a lot of things that people say about like Kirby, where it's like, oh, the Kirby does all types of new stuff, right? Like look at Rainbow Curse, you know, or Canvas Curse specifically. And then 2 games later, they go back to that formula again. So it kind of defeats the purpose of like this thing supposed to being new, because then it just turns into the new old thing that they're doing over and over again. And that's kind of like the trap that it seems Woolly World is falling into. Because like before, Woolly World was like this new refreshing thing where it's like, oh, this is different from Yoshi's Island. For the 5th time or whatever, but the new Yoshi kind of just looks like a less thought out Woolly World.
Somebody had left a comment in the video, and I said I was gonna, like, you know, bring it up on the podcast.
We can use this to move in the comments.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like it was a really good thing. I didn't even think about it until but they said yeah, Yoshi has been always an iconic character. I've been looking into the Yoshi games. I've been into Yoshi games for years. Also, I think the newest one really looks close to a Labo aesthetic. So I'm guessing it's going to actually tie into Labo somehow with the different sets. I thought that was really interesting. I didn't think about that beforehand, but when I like took a closer look at the gameplay, I see there was like cardboard and, you know, things like that. And it brought it, like, what do you guys think about that? Like, you said, you think that they can incorporate something like that, because that right there could, you know, I could be putting my foot in my mouth at this point.
Yeah,
you know,
I think that would be dope if they did that.
Yeah,
I mean, Nintendo has been known for crossovers, so I mean, it's entirely possible. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. It would be fun.
It would make sense for why they stopped talking about it too.
No, it would just be like, yeah, it'd be crazy like to have that like we're gonna just like suddenly release this Yoshi trailer and nobody thinks anything about the cardboard. Then like months and months later, Labo comes out like, oh shoot, and then you connect the pieces like that. So that was a good comment. I was like, wow, that's crazy. The game's
gonna be called Yoshi's Lab. And then they're gonna like the game box. Get this, guys. The game box is going to be the pieces that you need. So like you get the game box and you got to deconstruct the game box, and then that's the Labo pieces for this game specifically.
That would be fun though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next well, do you want to read your comments on your video, Logan, or should I read this comment?
You can read the comment.
All right. So Ashley, she's a veteran on this channel. She's always in our comments.
Shout out to you, Ashley.
Shout out to Ashley. Matter of fact, she's one of our sponsors. She's a sponsor. This segment of the podcast is sponsored by Ashley. She said, "You guys made it past 10,000. Way to go! Both of you create such great content. I'm a big fan. Can't wait to see the channel continue growing. Congrats." On to the video. I really agree with a lot here. I didn't think about how similar these games become until I played the new Kirby. Is it fun? Yeah. Mindless, easy fun? Is it different? Mindless, easy fun, period. Is it different? Meh. Is it interesting? Sadly, no. Seeing how much other Nintendo franchises have grown compared to Yoshi and Kirby really is disappointing. They have a great opportunity to make something new, but I just don't see it happening for these new games. Hopefully, Nintendo can figure out something unique and intriguing this next time around.
Yeah, first off, Ashley, thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it. Appreciate a lot, and you always come back every single video, so we appreciate your support and your you're just with us, and we thank you for it. But yeah, I agree. It's just to see Yoshi and Kirby be like stagnant, like in this like spot where it's like, okay, we're not gonna like, this is our story and we're sticking to it. This is where we're at, and we're not gonna move from this. It's just like I said, it's safe, but it's dangerously so. It's things and like, let's take a risk. You guys can, and if it doesn't do well, you can always still try to innovate. But
it's like Switch since Breath of the Wild has been this place that seems to be like, it's a great place to take risks. Like you have everybody's eye, and people are already in love with this console. Of course, you need to take calculated risks. Like Breath of the Wild still in a lot of ways feels like what people love about Zelda. It may not be with like what like a lot of people that expect certain things where it's like, I want great dungeons, like I want the combat to be like this, so on and so forth. But it has the core tenets of what makes Zelda Zelda, you know? And really, it has a lot of what made Zelda Zelda before Zelda was Zelda with the first game. It feels more like a reimagining of that experience, where it's like you have no idea what you're doing. You don't know that you got to bomb that bush over there. Like you don't know stuff like, or burn that bush and bomb that wall. Like that. There's a lot of that stuff in this Legend of Zelda game, whereas the rest of them are like really formulaic after Ocarina of Time. It's like again, it's kind of like Zelda fell victim to what like Yoshi is falling victim to, where it's like they find a formula, it succeeds, they continue with that formula, they get bored of that formula, they try a new one, that becomes a new formula for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
And Breath of the Wild kind of dashed that a little bit.
Yeah. So they'll keep trucking along. Yoshi and Kirby, they'll keep on progressing, and I hope that they will. At some point, they're bound to. It's just like when. I don't know when they're gonna take that leap, but I hope it'll be soon, because.
Okay.
It's just.
Do you want me to read Justinator 101's comment too?
Yeah.
Just a critique. I'm not entirely sure if you write a script for your vids, but I think I would prefer a great deal from it. What? I don't understand.
I think it would benefit a great deal.
Oh, okay. That was on me. There's a lot of pausing in between sentences, almost as if you're collecting your thoughts on the spot, and that makes a lot of your points sound redundant. Quote, Yoshi is uninteresting. Unquote. Quote, Yoshi throws eggs. Unquote. It gets repeated a lot. If there was a script, you could really think it out and have video get straight to the point. Other than that, love the podcast. Keep up the great work.
To answer that question, I freestyle every video. No, I'm joking. I do script my videos out. A lot of the like I'll it really depends. If it's getting like it's really, I just like gotta make the videos like close. I mean further away. Like when it's like crunch time and I don't like have a lot of time to spend with the video, I'll like I said, I'll script the beginning of it. The first, like I'll say like 6-7 minutes. After that, if I want to tie it and add some extra points, I'll do that as well. It's just you know, just adding into the conversational pieces and putting it together at the end to make it sound fluid. I try to add in different things, but you know, it's not all off the cuff.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that after the video went up, where it was like I think that we should like do pass throughs, even if like my videos, you know, like it would be good to like send scripts back and forth and say like, hey, what do you think of this? Do I sound like I'm rambling here? Do I repeat anything? Does this make sense? You know, like, and fact check me, you know, like is what I'm saying truthful? So yeah, I think that's fair, and this is like an example of a comment that I like that's critical, because a lot of times like I had a back and forth with somebody in the comments in my video where it's like, oh, I don't like how you respond to a lot of comments or some comments where it's like somebody's critical, quote unquote, of your video, and you get kind of like snappy with them, you know, and I'm like, you get what you give. From my perspective, a lot of YouTubers are like, oh, just ignore them, blah blah, all that other stuff. But like, I like to engage with our community. I like to go through the comments, and if somebody has something to say, they gave me 10 minutes. I mean, like, they sat through 10 minutes of their life listening to me talk. I can go back and forth with them on their thoughts of that 10 minutes, you know. So like, if somebody has something positive to say or negative, and they say it to me as if I'm a human being that that they can speak respectfully to, I talk to them like that. But if they come to me like, oh, this is stupid and you're dumb, blah blah blah, I'm going to come back at you and be like, well, this comment makes no sense because blah blah blah. You know, it's not necessarily a thing of like stooping to their level, because I'm not going to like start cursing them out or anything like that.
Well, it just depends on like what kind of like just what kind of comment it is. Like if it's just like brainless insult, I don't even respond to that.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like you're stupid, or
exactly.
like
if it goes beyond
like,
the content, right? Like he didn't take his critiques and bring it into like this personal attack, you know. It wasn't like this like scapegoat for like, I don't really have anything to say about this video, I just disagree with you and I hate you for it, you know. But this comment was like, these are like legitimate concerns that I have for this content. I like what you're doing and I want it to be better. Here's how I think you can do that.
Right.
I like those comments. Those comments are cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as, you know, you get the same respect that you put out into the world. If you go and attack somebody on a completely baseless level and it's just vicious, why would you expect that person to give you all the love in return? It makes no sense.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like from that point on, like this, I'll read a comment, and the second I see some type of like baseless insult, I don't even care about the rest of the stuff that you said. You know, like I could completely agree with your like the foundation of your point of like, oh, I think this was wrong and you didn't think this out well enough. But if you're like, you're effing stupid, you know, like if you start out the comment like that, I don't even care what you said. You know. Yeah.
It validates your point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Keep up the good comments. The ones that have actual points and merit to them, not the baseless insult. And you know, we'll engage with you guys and we'll respond back to you. And speaking about comments and videos in general, AJ made a video this week about Kirby again.
Boo, another
Kirby
bad segue. Boo.
Kirby has a big ambition problem, and Kirby Star Allies proves it.
Yes.
Alyssa, you wanna? What were your overall thoughts?
I have a lot to say.
Right.
Okay. Hear me out. Okay, I watched your video, and I completely agree with the fact you kept on saying, you know, like, saying it's a kid's game is not an excuse. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me just say, like, for starters, that I don't have much experience with Kirby. The one game that I loved as a kid, I would literally go to the video store and rent crystal shards on a weekly basis because I loved it so much. I don't know why I never bought it. It was stupid. Right. But that was my jam, and I kind of regret not getting really into Kirby. However, upon watching the demos, I wanted to play it, but Dan deleted it off the Switch for some reason. So I watched a lot of the gameplay, right? And every time, it was like, every time you said, it's a kid's game, it's not an excuse. I'm like, oh my God, yes, because here's the thing. Zelda Ocarina of Time was released in 1998. I was 7 years old and I beat it solo. And that was before the internet was a thing. That was before you could look up what to do, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Just saying that it's a kid's game. It should be easy. No. They should be challenging. Kids' games should be challenging. It helps you grow as a gamer. It helps make you smarter. It's puzzle solving. It's problem solving. You need to add some kind of challenge to children's games. Otherwise, it's just mindless.
Yeah, it's like that's what makes a game. Resistance.
Yes.
You know? Like if there's no end goal and nothing that pushes back from you, you're just moving a chess piece down a board with no other chess pieces. Yes. You know, like what's the point of that? I get that. A lot of people are like the value of Kirby to them is like, I just want to turn my brain off. I just want to look at the cute little, like listen to the sound effects, look at the like watch a let's play, you know?
Plus that's like that's like insulting to kids too. Like kids are dumb.
Yeah, like you can't expect kids to play a game that challenges them.
Hey, like I got picture somebody like developing the game, like Freddy. Wait, hold on, Fred. You're making the game too challenging. Like what? You gotta slow down. Kids are dumb. They can't have any freaking adversity in the game. What are you doing? It's like it doesn't make any sense. Also, like, I gotta speak like just like beyond outside. Like you said, I don't have a lot of experience with Kirby as well. But I like when you spoke on how when you brought up the fact that any other type of game, when it comes to this $60 price tag and like the content and the fact that Kirby can get away with being so much and away with is just because of the name to it. That I like that a lot. I found that to be very true. Like you can't like it's a good thing to have like these strong solid IPs, but you shouldn't let that just dictate and be like, okay, because it's a Mario game, we're gonna just and not that they ever would, but just as an example, we're gonna trim this down. We know it's gonna sell like hotcakes. It's like
exactly.
You can't use the Kirby name just to and put in minimal. Like what's it? Look, like under 5 hours.
Yeah, the game is like if you play it normally, and you're not super good at Kirby, I would say it's like 7 hours. If you know like this is Kirby, I don't really have to do much. I can flow through most of this game. It's like 5, maybe 6.
That's absurd.
Yeah,
it just seems pretty shallow.
Especially for the price. Shallow.
Especially for the price. Especially for the price.
I mean, at that price, you're basically at minimum wage. You're basically with that minimum wage paying like your entire wage for an hour. That's ridiculous.
Right.
It's nonsense. Like, and it's like I said in the video, like I don't understand how people see a game that's $60 like Kirby, right? And it's like they just excuse the fact that it's not on the level of a Breath of the Wild. But why is Breath of the Wild $60? Like they would be mad if Breath of the Wild costs more than that $60 because it's more ambitious and it took more time and it costs more money to make. But why are they not mad about Kirby being $60? Because it has far
they should,
less,
they should not be on the same scale. I should not be paying the same for a game like Breath of the Wild and Kirby. That's just like what?
It's like if Kirby can cost me the same $60, it's been in the industry for 25 years. Everybody knows who Kirby is. Like there's no reason why they should be making these like indie game level titles. At this point, like
exactly,
everybody knows who Kirby is. If you can and Kirby sells well, even with these like half-assed games. I don't know if you had to bleep that or not.
It should be
that should be safe. But even with these games, it's like they sell 2 million units. Imagine if you made a game that actually like impressed people, like
imagine you made a game that's actually good.
And people are like, this game's get like comments that I got a lot was like, oh, this game got fine scores, it's performing fine, and it's like, yeah, but like Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, two also classic like Nintendo IP that are on the box of a Smash Brothers game, they were getting record-breaking like reviews and stuff. That's never going to happen for a Kirby game at this rate. Yeah. And I think it could. You're not going to see a Kirby game with like a 97 on Metacritic. It's not happening.
Right.
I mean, my whole thing is, you know, you can make a game that's casual and fun and challenging at the same time that both kids and adults will love. Nintendo has shown that they're capable of this over and over and over. And
you mean like Mario Odyssey?
Oh,
yeah. Wait a minute, did you guys know that Mario Odyssey exists? I don't know if people knew that.
I mean, I heard, you know, whispers.
Yeah. I understand that I'm like this Nintendo dude, so I'm the only person that knows about Breath of the Wild. I mean, Breath of the Wild, and I'm like Mario, and I'm the only person in the world.
Yeah.
So like, just so you know, there are games that are easy and also well thought out and challenging at points.
Impossible.
I know. I thought so too, but I did my expert level of research.
I mean, but surely it's never been done. I mean, if it has, I mean, wouldn't you think they'd apply it to other games? This makes no sense to me.
Why else would they make Kirby so easy? Like, the kids can't play. You know, they're just trying to give kids one game they like, you know? Because
listen, kids got homework to do. They can't have a hard game on top of that.
I mean, surely kids are not capable of problematic puzzle solving. Kids cannot appreciate games that make them think. Why is this a thing?
Not one kid played Lion King on the SNES, let me tell you. Because that game is extremely difficult, apparently.
Jungle
no kids
Book
played that.
Jungle Book was the worst.
I could not even think about touching, like, you know, Ninja Gaiden on the NES. I was not allowed to even think about it because it was difficult. My brain might explode, my small child brain. But
I mean, and surely you I mean, of course you wouldn't appreciate those games as you got older because they made you think as a kid, and that's a turnoff.
I know, like, I don't play video games anymore because they made me play these like super hard games, you know. So I was like, why am I going to play this if it's hard? It makes me work. You know, like,
yeah, even as adults, we're only thinking it hurts our brains too much. It's too much work.
As soon as it starts to, you know, tingle up in your brain, you know, you put it down, you step away, grab some coffee.
It's like, I took a hit to my health bar. I can't play this game anymore. I legit, like, I was talking to Bob when I first started playing Kirby Star Allies. I was like, so 3 hours into this game and I have like 60 lives, like, because I never died and I kept getting extra lives. It's like it takes like in Mario games, like, you could do that too in a Mario game, but it usually takes like some type of exploit, like in like a 3D world or whatever. Like, you had to go at that one point and like keep hitting the shell, and then you would eventually get one up from it repeatedly hitting the thing and stuff like that. But it was just me playing the game normal. You know, like, I never died and I was just getting extra lives. I was like, this is ridiculous. And like, how is that rewarding? Where it's like, if after a while, if you keep getting too much of anything without the opposite effect, like the thing is just like, okay, you know, like, but you appreciate your dessert a lot more after you're made to eat your vegetables, you know?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know how that is rewarding, but you know, one thing that is rewarding, these comments in our videos. And speaking of the comments in our videos, Misha? Hope I'm saying that right, Misha. You know, don't hunt me down and kill me. Commented, they said, people are okay with Kirby because every other game after Return to Dreamland innovated. Triple Deluxe added background elements, and Robobot added the armor, which greatly changed the game. This game is getting criticized for being like more of the same, which, yeah, it deserves it. But overall, every Kirby game has a new twist.
I think comments like this.
I think Alyssa wants to attack.
Okay, you want to go in on them?
Okay, you're saying the game rightly deserves for being criticized for being a lot of the same, but it's also innovated every game after Dreamland?
Right.
Wait. If it's truly innovated every game since Dreamland, criticism wouldn't be that for the same. Wouldn't be a thing. Help me understand this, please. Please.
Exactly. I think it's more of like people. Like, they see how a little Kirby changes, so whenever a little change happens, it's like this groundbreaking thing. Like, you know, like, again, to bring up Mario.
Oh my God,
you know,
they
like
changed Kirby's shoe color.
This new game, you know, that nobody heard of, but Mario, you know, like, they changed mechanics a lot. There's a lot of, like, new little wrinkles in every Mario game, and it feels like Kirby games, like, even a game that I would say is decent, like, it's decently good, is like Robobot. It does, like, you know how Mario, right, in the beginning of a level, it's like, this is this level's gimmick, and then it ramps that gimmick up as you move on. And then like at the end of it, it's like, this is the final test of like how you use this gimmick. We're adding all these wrinkles on top of this gimmick that we taught you how to do from baby steps to now you're an adult and you're paying taxes. Like that's the entirety of a Kirby game. It's like one elongated Mario level. So it's like they have one mechanic, like the robot, that they're like, okay, we're going to put you in like little different scenarios and stuff like that, rather than like using the entirety of Kirby and his like abilities to make interesting levels. Like a lot of people are like, oh, they could never make a 3D Kirby game because he can float to infinitum or whatever, right? Design a level around that, you know, like you're the game designer. Make a level so that it's not that easy to just take advantage of the game through floating, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
But they never.
It seems like just to be a simple exploit, you know, and that should be something they do nerf if they're able to. I don't know how to segue into this next comment. So, but I was like, nah, I'll not do it. The segue king. But Snivy Link said, my favorite thing about you guys is that you guys are fair. You're unapologetic but fair. I'm sorry. No, I'm joking. It's so annoying when fans don't want innovation, be it Pokemon or Kirby, or insult Nintendo IP here. I mean, when the most ambitious thing an IP has done is in a spin-off game released a decade and a half ago, it's just agonizing and frustrating. And it's even more so when the fan base is, as you said, the definition of complacent.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like, that's really like the skid that I steered into, where it's like, I mean, kind of stumbled into that, where I was just like, I want to talk about this, and this is my opinions on this. Like, I like Nintendo and everything, but I mean, this thing I don't like, you know, and I'll go in on that. But I make sure to like I definitely like them. I'm not attacking them for the sake of it, like a lot of people do, and I'm not going to praise them for the sake of it, like a lot of people do. And I like that. I like that dynamic of our channel where we're not afraid to critique Nintendo. and be fair about it, not just like for the clicks of like everybody loves, like kind of like what Jim Sterling seems to do, where it's like everybody loves Breath of the Wild, and because they love it so much, I'm gonna say it's okay, you know, like, and that's enough to like get everybody
right,
up
just being contrary for the sake of.
Yeah,
I think if it's something you like genuinely feel a certain way about, you know, better videos come from that, and then, you know, and just more engaging stuff. But yeah, the fans need to stop being so complacent, because if they are like, obviously they're going to support, and you can't support through everything, because they're going to keep making more of the same, and it's just like, you know, not everybody wants that.
Yeah, like ironically, that's what's going to kill the games, where it's like there's a contingent of people that's like, I'm okay with this being unchanged forever.
But no, after a while they're gonna be like, yeah, this is getting kind of old.
No, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think most normal people will, and that's the problem. So like, say there's 100,000 people that, like, the people that are in our comments like, Kirby needs to, like, if they ever change it even a little bit, it'll die, you know, like those people. Say there's 100,000 people like that, and then there's people that are like, I like the character of Kirby, I'm fine with how it is right now, but I would like to see change, you know, like those are the people that are going to fall away, because the people that want new things already did, you know, like they're the ones like kind of how you were with Yoshi, where it's like, okay, I played Kirby and then I see an ad for Yoshi, and then I see an ad for another Yoshi game, and it's pretty similar to the last one that I played, so I'm probably not going to play this one, you know, and then it continues until you're a decade and a half later and you haven't touched a Yoshi game, you know, like,
right.
Yeah, but I mean, like we were saying earlier, though, like, especially at a $60 price tag, why would you keep paying that for the same thing over and over and over when you could just play the last one that's basically the same for nothing?
Yeah, I know. You would think that that's basic logic, but people, like, it's weird. Like Nintendo,
I think it's CODS. That's the Call of Duty syndrome.
I
That's definitely what that is.
I think the biggest thing is, like, it's weird. Like, it's so weird how Nintendo has like trained a lot of their, and I don't know if they like do this on purpose, but a lot of their fan base is trained to think that Nintendo is like their parent that they need to make proud. Where it's like, oh, they bought you Burger King and you're not even grateful for it. You know, it's like, no, they're a company. I'm a consumer. That's the relationship. I'm supposed to want them to do things. They do it. I buy it. They get money. You know, like that's how it works. It's not like this thing of of like, here's your meal, you better like it or you're ungrateful. You know, like what? That's not how it works.
I mean, as like the average, like quote unquote average consumer, like if I went to buy that game and I had played the previous few and I paid $60 for it, and I realized it was the same thing, and it was only what you said, like between 5 to 7 hours of gameplay, I would feel so ripped off.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if it doesn't really innovate or do something drastically different, why? Just why?
Because those
we gotta put it at 60 because Kirby.
It's
an A-brand.
Exactly. Right. It's such a weird reasoning where they're like, hey, it's Kirby, it's going to sell. But like, why can't they say, hey, it's Kirby, it's going to sell. Let's make it as big as we possibly can. You know, like it's Kirby. It's weird. It's weird. I don't get it.
Yeah, that was just I don't know. Will Kirby and Yoshi ever make a difference? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. We'll see. But I also want to see what you guys' most wanted third-party games are for the Switch. I want to see what those are.
So a lot of people for such a long time, and I tweeted about this. This is why I was going to say that we were going to talk about why Alyssa is much smarter than Dan. I tweeted about like how Ark is coming to Switch, and for a long time, and it's like one of those games that was like talked about, where it's like, oh, maybe it'll come. Like the developers like, yeah, we'll bring it over to Switch, and then people are like, oh, Switch will never run that, right? But they're not thinking about the fact that these are, first of all, it's a much more modern console than what they're used to, like from Nintendo, where it's like they see Wii and how Wii couldn't play an Xbox 360 game. So therefore, if anything's like less powerful than another thing, then it can't run whatever. But the Switch is a whole nother ball game. It's like, it's of course, yes, less powerful, but it's a more modern architecture. It's the gap between Xbox One and Switch is much smaller than the gap between Xbox 360 and Wii. So that leaves up the possibility to, with a good amount of optimization, to make pretty much anything on Switch. Really, it's just up to if games want to make that compromise, you know, like a developer like CD Projekt Red that prides themselves on like, this is the best of the best graphics, we develop for the strongest machines available, you know, like stuff like that. They're probably not going to do it. But like a developer like Activision, you know, like they can make some lower quality assets of Call of Duty to put it on Switch, you know.
Right.
Well, for me, I think, okay, so one, Ark. Absolutely, because I freaking love that game. I could play it to the day I die. But here's the thing.
I gotta try this game out.
It's so much fun. Well, it's fun if you just want to potentially derp off for a couple of hours and maybe get eaten by a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I mean, it's fun. It's casual, but it's also very challenging in a way. It's the weirdest combination. It's very balanced in a weird way. But I just want to point out, the Switch is the perfect size for your face. So I'm thinking VR in the future, because it's just the perfect size for it. I would not be surprised at all if they eventually came out with a port for, you know, VR compatibility.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
You know, since the Switch came out, all I wanted was Skyrim. All I wanted was Skyrim on Switch, and for it to be VR.
Skyrim VR.
Yeah, and they announced it. So I'm good on that front, and they announced Ark. I also, though, would really love to see, I don't know if Rockstar would ever do this, but Red Dead Redemption is an amazing game, and because it has a lot of extra content that really, it doesn't really end, because it does have multiplayer. It does have, you know, all those extra missions you can do. It does have a lot of hours of gameplay you can put into it, and that would be really fun on the Switch.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I think I'm trying to think. There's a lot. There's not that many third-party games that I really like, as far as like that would like take my like that I can think of like offhand. Like, this is something I really want. Things that I'm playing now, like around me, like Monster Hunter, that's something I enjoy. That'd be cool to see.
I mean, I don't understand why they didn't put my like. It's so weird, because like Monster Hunter World is like this thing where it's like, oh, it's the most successful Monster Hunter game, and blah blah, and like, but imagine if Japan cared about it as much as they usually do. Like right now, Monster Hunter World, I'm pretty sure is under 2 million units in Japan. It might be around 2 million units. That's blasphemous. Like, because like on 3DS, like that game sold like 4 million units in Japan. Like the last Monster Hunter, I should say. Like they love Monster Hunter. If this was on a console,
I don't know why. That's crazy. Like, I don't know why it's like that dip is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's like there's a few games that like it's going to activate Japan. You know, like a contingent of them is all good. Not even a contingent; it's much bigger than that. You know, like the entirety of their games market when they see Splatoon, they're up in arms. They're like, oh yeah, I want this game. I'm buying it day one. I'm lining up for blocks and blocks. Like Monster Hunter is another one of those games. Pokemon's another one of those games. Dragon Quest. What's that game called? Yokai Watch was one of those games for a while.
I think that not a lot of third parties. I'm like really like, oh, this is like the greatest thing ever.
I want Overwatch because I would actually play that game again if it came to Switch. Right. I want Grand Theft Auto 5. Or whatever the next one is, if they don't want to entertain that, which I don't think they're coming out with Grand Theft Auto 6 for a long time because they're still making money off of it. But anyway, I want Grand Theft Auto 5. Really, I mean, honestly, I think that a lot of games that if they were to come to Switch, I would be more willing to play them even if I'm not interested in them like from the get-go.
I can't think of like a specific like. Let's say something like I'm trying to think like what don't I play that's like I'm not interested, like say a Mortal Kombat or something like that. I'm like okay, I'll get on, you know, like, even though I'm not really I'm not gonna be the first person line to go, let me get Mortal Kombat 10 for the Xbox One. Like, I'm not, that's not me. Or like a Soul Calibur or something. That would be cool. I definitely would like to see Soul Calibur, the new one on the Switch. That'd be awesome.
Put Link in it.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
What do you guys think?
Breath of the Wild Link.
Ooh,
what were you saying?
Yes, Breath of the Wild Link.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But what would you guys think of something like, because, you know, it is Wi-Fi compatible, something like Final Fantasy 14 or WoW, because...
That'd be crazy. I love that.
That'd be cool. I mean, they do have, what's it called? Phantasy Star Online. What's the new one called? Phantasy Star Online. Something Cloud.
Yeah.
The second one. They have that. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they did try to pursue, like, MMO type games on Switch.
That would be really fun because, I mean, you know, from my experience, you know, I do play those games, and sometimes, you know, if you are on the go, you have that itch, you want to get online with your friends, and you need to play.
Right.
And tethering's a thing.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi hotspots are all over the place.
Everywhere.
You know?
I mean, you can get your own little hotspot, bring it with you. I mean, that would be really fun to add.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that.
Yeah.
Again, that would be another thing.
She's trying to kill the channel, have me play MMOs for my whole life.
No, but we're playing Ark. We're doing it.
That's gonna be great.
So that's it. That's the games that you guys want.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Okay, I didn't set up Logan for a segue, but we're going into Q&A.
I hate you. You know the segues. I gotta do them.
Matter of fact, things you gotta do.
We gotta read. Oh yeah, speaking of things I gotta do. Q&A. It's Van Aiken on
That's
Twitter.
Alex from OK Beast. Everybody subscribe.
Woo!
Shout out. Thank you so much. He said, what are Alyssa's tips for those who want to sell their art online? Also, what's her rarest POP?
Pop figure.
Pop.
Yeah. Okay, well, to start, selling your art online. Tip number 1, first and foremost, put your art online. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. Everybody grows. Put your progression, what you used to do, what you do now. Even if you're not happy with it, post it. Because how are people going to know if they want to commission you? How do they know if they like your art or not if they don't see what you do? Like, start a DeviantArt, make a page for it. Just, you know, post little things here and there every day. Draw every day. Post something every day. Even if it's on social media, post it, because you never know what that one thing is going to be that gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, like a lot of artists. I'm so sorry. A lot of artists are so self-conscious with a lot of things like that. I know a lot of people that draw. They're like, "Oh, this drawing is terrible." I'm like, it's good. Yeah. Like, and I feel like that might be a lot of the reasons why a a lot of people were, but like you said, like they shouldn't be discouraged from.
They definitely should do that, because people like me are like, I need a lower third. I'm not making that. Let me let me go on Twitter and look up people that are doing commissions, you know, like that type of stuff, or
absolutely
like the emotes and stuff like that.
And
so like whenever I see like this like graphic of like, here are my commissions, you know, like I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
It just sounded funny because like she came out the gate, but put them online, but it's obvious, but it's so true. It's so true.
It's not obvious, but I mean, that's experience. Like, I've always been like, since the day I could pick up a pencil, I've been drawing, you know, and I went to art school. Like, I went to college for art. That was my major, was fine arts. And I didn't put my art online anywhere until a couple of months ago, because I wasn't confident enough in myself to do that. And so I forced myself to make a DeviantArt. I forced myself to put my art online and to post it on social media, because it's what I like doing. It's what I enjoy doing. I know I'm good at it. Why am I not feeling like I'm confident in myself when I know this is something that I'm good at? And not only that, the artist community is so cool. It is so flipping cool. Like, you post something and go, what's wrong with this? Like, I don't understand why this isn't working. You'll get dozens of comments from other artists going, well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Use this brush. I love that brush. Like, do these other things. They will help you. They will actively help you to be better.
For sure. I mean, a lot of that is
that's
like...
the good thing about...
were you saying, Logan? Go ahead.
No, but that's the good thing about, like you said, like, getting out there and, like, you know, when you're hesitant and, you know, not sure of yourself, or, like I said, you're self-conscious about your work, and, you know, you're sensitive about it, as artists are naturally, you wouldn't get that. That's help you're missing out on, you know? And that's like advice you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. So it's definitely a positive. Definitely.
Yeah,
a positive.
and there's the other part of it of, like, you know, if you do something and you're so in love with it and it's your baby and you're afraid to post it because you're afraid that it's going to get negative comments, that's okay. Getting negative comments is part of life. You're going to get negative comments on anything you do in the public eye. But if you think about it as growth, like, if you post something and I'm totally happy with it and somebody goes, well, why didn't you do this, that, the other, and look much better? It's not necessarily that it's bad. Maybe you didn't think of it. Maybe if you try it, it would actually be better, or you could teach yourself a new technique. Why, as an artist, wouldn't you want that knowledge to help you grow and experiment with your art?
Right. Like, just know that if you're not growing, that's what you're doing wrong, you know? Like, you can always be getting better. Somebody say, like, again, I mean, there's always, like, there can be valid criticism in, like, something that a jerk would say, you know? So, like, try to look at that and say, like, okay, if it bothers you, why? You know, like, maybe it is because you know that you're not doing that, and maybe you should.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like, maybe it's just something you haven't thought of, and you know what? Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
So the pop thing, you got any rare pops?
Yeah, actually, one of my... Okay, so I have a lot. I have over 100 pops, right?
Jesus.
Okay, well, let me just say that...
that's expensive.
Well, let me just say that, like, 95 maybe % of them were actually sent in by my fans for unboxings on my YouTube channel. So the set was basically built by my fans, which is the coolest thing ever to me, because it's like, sentimentally, it's worth so much more to me than just a regular pop. You know, it came from someone who actually cares about what I do, and that's important to me.
Right.
One of my favorite pops, the rarest one, I think, is one of the ones that was sent in by a fan, and it's the 11th Doctor from Doctor Who from the 2015 Funko Convention exclusive.
Wow.
And it's really cool. And he's holding like a Cyberman head. I love Doctor Who. I can watch Doctor Who forever. So it's cool that, you know, they know my interests, and they really, you know, they pay attention, and they send me things that I really, really like. So it's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, shout out to your fans and your supporters. That's crazy. That's great.
It's really cool. My fans are awesome. And I hope that, you know, we can all, you know, come together here and hang out in the comments together.
Yeah, everybody go to Alyssa's comments and send her a pop.
Well, here too. I mean, I want, you know, them to jump over here and see
also
how cool you guys are.
Yes. But speaking of pops, and things popping. You know the kids say things popping. You know what's gonna be popping? E3.
Hey.
So, somebody said on the Discord, what do you guys think E3 will bring?
Oh, so he doesn't get a name now? You're not going to shout out his name?
Dark Clog?
I don't know.
Dark Cough without the H at the end. Dark Cough.
Or Cougar. Because Cougar?
Dark Who?
I don't know. Tell us how to say your name.
I don't know.
Spell it
Don't be mad at us. Be mad at yourself. Anyway, what do you think E3 will bring? Well, let me tell you what I hope E3 will bring. I hope E3 will bring more news about Smash Brothers. I don't really care about anything else.
I mean, it's definitely going to do that. They're having a Smash Brothers tournament. They're definitely going to have information about Smash Brothers.
I had a nightmare the other night, guys. I had a nightmare the other night. You want to hear what it was?
What was it?
It was a nightmare that Smash was a port.
Oh my god!
I was upset. I woke up in cold sweats. I was like, no, it can't be true.
I'll never buy that.
No, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's
funnily enough, I want Microsoft to have a good E3.
They're
the only ones not doing good.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they're kind of like I like use a metaphor, but like, oh, you need a hug, buddy. You need a hug. It's like they're just not doing anything. It's like, I don't really know. I'm enjoying Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves is fun. It needs a lot of work, but it is fun.
You playing it too?
Yeah.
I really do.
The funniest thing about Sea of Thieves, for me at least, when I played it,
getting drunk,
it was just being dumb, I was just like having fun doing nonsense.
I would love to stream Sea of Thieves with you guys. That'd be so fun.
Did you see when we streamed it before?
No, I might have been away.
Oh my god, we have to stream it.
That'd be so much fun.
I'm so down. But yeah,
I want to play.
I was playing it with Dan and Bob and Alex from OK Beast. On their Twitches and on their respective Twitches, except for the OK Beats. I don't think they stream that. I don't have time to like set up my stream. I'm not figuring that out yet. but yeah, I'm down to like stream with other people.
Definitely. I want to. We gotta set this up and play because I love that game. I'm seeing the thing I've been seeing about that game, and if I can go off I'll create a timestamp, create a topic. The thing the thing I'm seeing here is that people were like I agree with what you said, Alyssa. There just definitely needs to be more depth. But I'm seeing a lot of people like compare this. Like I saw somebody's like, "Oh, this is the No Man's Sky 2018."
I saw that too. Yeah.
That was crazy. That was crazy to me because we didn't get misled as far as like have people been following like the game's release? Because it's like we didn't get misled. Everything that they've shown is in this game. It's not like they're
you did make a video. You made a video on TGN about this game,
right?
Okay, let me just tell you something. All right, so my sister's been in it since the pre-alpha, and I've been playing since before the open beta, because I was invited like way back, and so I've been playing this game for a while already, and. Oh my goodness, through the beta, they did so many open tests and everything that I saw through the alpha, because I would sit and I'd hang out with my sister while she was playing, so I'd, get to see it. Like, I've been looking forward to this game for literal years, okay? And not just a game like this, like specifically Sea of Thieves, because I've been watching the development. Nothing has changed. Nothing. Since, like, it plays exactly the same glitches and all since before the open beta. And that's what the problem is. Like I pre-ordered like months ago when the pre-orders opened. I ordered it that day. And I've been waiting for months. And when you have multiple scale tests, when you have multiple play sessions just to figure out what the bugs are, you're aware of these bugs, and you don't do anything about them for months, literal months, and you still do a full open,
that's an issue.
Knowing these are things that are happening, that is not okay.
That's an issue. That's an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, those, in a lot of ways, betas can bite you in the butt. Because like they basically let it like develop for this skew of the game, and then that halts everything else. Like the progress that they make towards releasing like whatever the open beta is, like that's essentially like a mini development cycle for a whole nother game. It, like whatever work they do working up to that doesn't necessarily lead into anything. So like if they were to like just do one open beta and one closed alpha and leave it at that, I think that the game would have been better off for that. But they didn't like do like the closed alpha and then take notes and then like go head down on the game for a couple months and then come out with this more improved like product and then say, okay, what do we need to change from here, and then then go away for another 6-7 months and then, you know, like release the game, you know? Trying to be so like transparent with like, here's where the game is, left them with no progress because they spent so much time trying to show us where they were at when they started showing.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't draw if you have the paper pointed out to the other person, you know?
Yeah, the $60 price tag. I mean, obviously you have another route to go with it. As far as with the Game Pass, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't pay $60 for it.
Yeah, me either. But I definitely, like back what we were saying before, that doesn't merit the $60 price tag. I could see maybe like 40, 30. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, at the moment, I agree with you. I mean, I know they're still going to do patches, and I know they're going to fix a lot of things, and they're going to bring in new content. Like, I'm aware of a lot of new content that they're bringing in, but at the same time, if all of the bugs were there, if you're aware of all of these things and you didn't fix them, and you're still, like, knowing that your game doesn't feel complete, and it's not complete because a lot of the things that you're going to be bringing in over the next few weeks is pretty essential to the core gameplay, then you shouldn't have released it. You should have waited, postponed it. Yeah, I would have waited. Everybody would have waited a couple of more weeks to have a fully functional game.
I was excited for the game, but I wasn't like nipping at the heels. Like I
didn't even know when this game was coming out. Like I got an email from Amazon like, hey, you're pre-order. I was like, oh wait, I don't want to pre-order anymore. I want to use the Game Pass.
I will say though, I haven't ran into any like severe. I haven't like run into any like. I did like a couple of like cool glitches every now and then, but I haven't like ran into any like bugs that were like, what the heck is this? I've sunk like at least like 10 hours, at least 10 hours in this game.
Oh my goodness!
Like at least like at the very least. I just feel as though like some of the things are repetitive, like the questing and a lot of things are like you know. I'm seeing a lot of people like the same kind of stance. People are like, oh, I enjoyed the first like few hours. Then I just teeter off, but like, I don't know, something about like when you get like your whole 4-man crew, and you're out there sailing. Like, I just like it, man. I don't know. I like it.
I'm not saying that I'm not gonna play it. Like, I think this game is fun as all heck. Like, I love this game, and I'm still gonna play it, but it leaves a lot to be desired. And there, like, definitely, a lot. Oh my goodness, so many things happen. So the first day, we had our friend buy it, and we all got to play it, but we didn't actually get into the game. We tried to get in, and it loaded for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. We didn't even get to play it until many hours after the fact. And then
that's a problem.
And then when we got in, our gold wouldn't load. We turned in an estimated like 2,000-ish gold worth of chests. We didn't see any of it. It stayed at 0 the whole time. We glitched through things. I got respawned on like different islands at random, and oh my goodness, the best part, actually, Dan recorded this. It's in his video that he released today. You can see it, like actually see it. And we go to find our boat right after we spawned in, and this is the same session, mind you. So this is our friend's first time playing, and it's already a disaster. And we go to the boat, we can't find it. It's not at the dock. We had just gotten into the game. We're like, what the heck? So we look and we look and we look, and our friend goes, there it is. It's all the way out there. It was like way the heck out on the horizon, capsized upside down. So
what?
So
that's crazy.
So we go to the ship. We go under it, onto it, but the gravity is working the same as it would be that it was upright.
What?
And so we jumped. And Dan just like falls way down into the abyss because he jumped and gravity just did a thing underwater.
Yeah,
and the boat wouldn't
that's
sink.
Crazy.
And we had to like it was so stupid. We couldn't even sail.
You guys had a ghost ship and everything.
Did. And you can see it like it's on his video. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in any game ever.
The most I've had, I didn't have anything like that crazy. I definitely would have like made note of it. Like, this is crap. Because if something like that happened. But the most I've seen, like you said, a friend and I, we were questing, and we just like returned. We sold 2 chests, or like maybe like 2 chests and like a couple skulls, and we were like, where the heck is the gold? And we had to quit out, come back, and then the gold cycle through.
Yeah.
That was the most.
The one time I played this game,
that was crazy,
which was on that stream. I still don't have any gold, and we got like 4 or 5 chests and like a skull.
Nice.
and I got no gold from that. And I never turned the game back on after that, so I don't know. We'll get back to that and see if I get any gold. But yeah, as of now, I have 0 gold. And I mean, I had fun just because, like, I didn't even care because, like, I was just having fun with, like, the stream itself. Like, I was just acting like people, like, people in the stream were, like, legitimately thought I was drunk because, like, I was just like, I'm just gonna, like, fully, like, embrace this and, like, just be it, like. Yeah, like me and like there's a lot of like clip outs that like the stream and stuff like that where me and Bob were just being the class clowns, and like Dan and Alex they gotta be the responsible ones, and me and Bob were like trying to throw up in each other's like mouths and stuff. I was like Bob, baby bird me some grog, and we're just doing
That's
like
funny.
dumb stuff like that. So I had a lot of fun doing that. I don't know, maybe I would have had less fun if I was trying to like do the quest and they weren't working, but I think
it'd be cool if they added like a for DLC like add like a parakeet, and then when you're in like game chat, the parakeet like repeats what you said. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be
That'd be pretty awesome.
Okay, let's do one more of these questions because
right,
this is going on the longer side for our podcast.
Hold on.
But everybody get Game Pass and play Sea of Thieves at least once.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it for Game Pass for now. I'd say the $60 price tag will be well worth it, like, maybe in a month or two, but for now, at least.
That's phenomenal. If it's a month from that, it took 6+ months for No Man's Sky to even be a semblance of like something worth the money.
Yeah.
You know? And that was even at the crazy price drops that it had.
I was so excited for that
Did
game,
you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that game has a story mode now?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to look into it now because I was really excited for it and I just didn't get it after it failed miserably. I'm sorry, not miserably. It failed spectacularly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just like it's too late. It's too late.
It's way too late. That game
though.
is beyond dead to me. I have no like. I mean, I'm always talking about this with like my uncle AC, Logan. You know, who I'm like he's like a classic type of gamer. You know, like he'll like marinate on a game for years. You know, and he's like jumping back and forth from playing all this stuff. I'm like I make content. You know, so I'm like I gotta play this game while it's relevant, and then when it's not anymore, it's dead. I gotta move on.
Yeah,
you know?
we have to move on to the next one.
So,
Speaking of moving on, let's move on to. We gotta move on to the final question. Joseph Gradowski, you are. Oh, I don't know how to say your last name. I just butchered it. I'm sure you are the lucky question of the day. On Twitter, they ask. This question is threefold. Apologies. You don't gotta apologize. You know.
yes, you do. We're on a timeline here. How dare you?
He said, how techno savvy were you before you entered your chosen profession? Did you already have a background in it? How much techno jargon did you actually have to learn before you got in the comfort zone?
As far as me, I kind of like, I was about like 75%, you know, before we actually started like fanatixfour, you know, because like I put a lot of like, I mean, before, like when we first were like, hey, let's do this, and we're getting all the branding together and stuff like that was my, like when I was learning how to do what I'm doing. And then I'd say it took maybe like a month or so before I got around to the level that I'm at now. Of course, I've improved more since then. But I would say like it wouldn't be too crazy to like watch a video from 2015 or like early 2016 and be like, okay, this came from the same person, you know, like it wasn't like, oh my god, this video was awful, you got so much better, you know, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely like a learn as you go process.
Yeah.
Definitely, you know, I had no priors, but well, as far as the video editing side, of things, but as far as like writing and stuff like that. And just using, just being around, familiar with audio in general and things like that, and just being a presence on online. We've done that
we had a ton
before.
Of experience for that.
As far as like in that aspect, as far as like being animated and being engaging and being, you know, we've done that. We did that for years. So.
How old were we when we started this channel? Like 20? I don't know.
20.
No,
yeah,
22 or something like that.
22,
so that we had like 10 years of experience, like doing like music and stuff like that. So like we knew about like audio equipment and like how to be animated and how to fill air. You know?
Right. Kind of like a little cheat sheet, but enough about us. Alyssa, what about you?
Well, I mean, for my art, I went to school for that. Went to college for that. So that kind of speaks for itself. I didn't know much until I went to school for it. But for the video side, streaming and YouTube and all of that, that was a process. I started with the YouTube, and that really got into full swing around the time that I met Dan and we started dating. And just remember that Dan is he has 2 streamings for editing, right? And so when he found out that I was editing on Microsoft Movie, it was the "oh honey no" moment, and he basically took it upon himself to overhaul my entire way of thinking and how to edit, and he cleaned that slate and taught me from the ground up, just because it was so awful. If you look at my early videos, it's disgraceful. It's the worst thing ever. And same for streaming, really. Like, I am not a technical person whatsoever. I look at chords and I'm like, these are chords. I have no idea what to do with them. I know that they're here and they plug into things. But yeah, it's really, having Dan here is my saving grace, because I wouldn't be able to do any of this because I just don't know how. Dan is the one that's been teaching me everything along the way, and I totally credit him with everything that is me online.
I mean, he's good at
it. He is.
Obviously.
He really is, and he's a really good teacher, and I really appreciate that.
Dan, teach me stuff. Teach me stuff. Send
you guys,
things.
you guys appreciate. Speaking of appreciate that, you guys will appreciate his channel, that Cyber channel. Go subscribe after you're done listening, or right now while you're listening to it. Yeah. Any final thoughts, guys, on the whole the podcast for the people in general, the sauce in general, or?
Kirby needs to get better, make it better.
Games or developers need to make sure that they don't release half-baked or underwhelming games.
Yeah, I don't know, like yeah, you don't gotta feel pressured to. I know they got their deadlines and everything. Like, just utilize the time you have, and don't just. We're just gonna drop this. We know it's not really finished, but we'll patch everything in there.
I mean.
Also, breaking news, Mario is a game that exists. I know you guys didn't know that.
I really thought you were about to drop a headline.
Like, Switch 2 was confirmed, Mario is a game that exists.
It's just as far as Nintendo with Kirby and Yoshi, it's just, make something you can be proud of. Can you really say, in comparison to so many other games that they've released, can you really be as proud of this new Kirby or this new Yoshi as you are as Breath of the Wild, or I don't know, even Woolly World? Like, it doesn't compare, and we want things to be proud of for you. Right.
True.
Like, yeah, we at the end we just want to defend you guys, and it gets hard to defend the same game 5,000 times over. But yeah, so thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it, and I'll see you guys when Tuesday.
Subscribe to AlyssaBeCrazy on YouTube and Twitch.
Because AlyssaBeCrazy.
And subscribe here.
Yeah, check her out.
fanatixfour.
Yeah, whatever. You can subscribe to us, I guess so. But more importantly, subscribe.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for having me on.
Bye, guys.
Bye.